All right, there's been some questions on part B and part C of this question. So the first thing I hope you did was write the equation. So Rent It Cheap rents for 20 cents per mile plus $125. And Lease It for Less up here says it rents the same size truck, $175 plus 10 cents per mile. So these are the two equations I came up with. And so to start off with Rent It Cheap, the $200 would go in for Y. That's the total they want to spend. So how far could they go? What is the X for this equation? So you would solve by subtracting 125 from 200, which gives you 75. And then you're going to divide 75 by 0.2, which gives you X equals 375 miles. So they could go 375 miles with Rent It Cheap for $200. Now we're going to do the same thing for Lease It Less. So $200 equals 10 cents per mile plus the 175. So this time you're going to subtract 175 from 200. That leaves you with 25. And then you're going to divide 25 by the 10 cents. So the number of miles they could go would be 250. Okay? So for $200, they're going to be able to go further with the company Rent It Cheap. Okay? Part C, it says, is there a point where the two companies will charge the same? So your keyword here is same. So we're going to take the two equations. So 20 cents times X plus the 125. And we're going to set it equal to Lease It for Less, which was 10 cents per mile, plus 175. So we want to know when they're going to be the same or when they are going to be equal to each other. So we set them equal to each other. This is the equal values method. So our first step is going to be to get X by itself, right? So I'm going to get rid of this 125 by subtracting it on both sides. What's left? Okay, now I need my X's together, so I'm going to subtract next step would be to divide 50 by 10 cents. So it gives me 500. So what does X represent in this problem? It represents the number of miles. So at 500 miles, it will cost the same amount and what is that amount going to be? Well, we can go back up to either equation, and in place of X, we're going to put 500. So I'm going to look at Rent It Cheap. 20 cents times 500 plus 125 would be at $225. They would cost the same. Okay? The same amount of $225. So at 500, comma, 225, these lines would intersect on the graph. Now you can always double check that amount. At our answer was 500 miles, so I could put that back in for Lease It for Less, and I could do the 10 cents times 500 plus 175, and I still get 225. So it works out with both of them. I hope this helps.